Alright everybody, this is Tanner Karn for another week of presentations. The question that I focused on this week was, upon what foundations are the U.S. public schools built? And my three questions that go underneath that are, how can I learn from the history of education and apply that to my teaching? Are there specific methods in the older structures of classrooms that I can apply? And would it be beneficial for me to study other educational systems from around the world? For the first question, I pulled up a really good quote. It's by George Orwell from his book 1984, and it says, "He who controls the past controls the future." Basically, under that understanding, if we are able to control our past, if we're able to learn from our past especially, then we will be able to progress in the future, which is what the purpose of living is, that we can progress and grow. As far as examples that I can follow, I listed a couple on my PowerPoint slide here, like Thomas Jefferson, Horace Mann, John Dewey. But basically, anybody that we can learn from, as far as historical figures in education, pretty much anybody that we've read about this semester. If we've read about them, then chances are they've lived before us, they've taught before us, and there's something that we can learn from them no matter how long ago it was, because it's history, and there's something that we can learn. My next question, are there specific methods in the older structures of classrooms that I can apply? I found a couple things in Thomas Jefferson's work in the book, where he talked about different ways that the teachers would be provided for and the limitations that they had. One of them was that teachers would stay with the families of the students. They had a lot of one-on-one time when this would happen. They would be able to spend a day or a few days with the student and with their families. They got to learn the family situation, and they got to spend that time with the students that was necessary to be able to teach them what they need. Another point was the limited education time that they had. Thomas Jefferson mentioned a couple times that the education time would be limited to being publicly provided for 3 years. So that's a very short amount of time to learn all the basic skills that you need, like arithmetic, reading, writing, and then a little bit of history as well. So given that short time frame, they really had to focus on what was necessary, and they had to kind of cut the fluff, and they had a sense of urgency that I don't think we necessarily have as much today. And so I think that there definitely are specific methods that used to be in play that we can still apply today, even if we can't necessarily go live with our students' families or limit a student's education to 3 years or something like that. And then my last question was, would it be beneficial for me to study other educational systems from around the world? And I said absolutely. Some of the comments on my post, or my question prompt, some of the comments led me to find other places where they talked about the educational systems from around the world. And the two groups that came up in a specific article were South Korea and Finland. In South Korea, it's been studied that they have a very hard work ethic. They are always studying for success. They're always basically shooting for the stars, because only when you are successful is when you will have gained enough knowledge to be able to apply to life. And so, based on that mentality, they're always going for more. And they work year-round to try to make it happen. And then in Finland, it's not as much focus on studying and classroom time and stuff like that. They instead focus on finding and developing specific talents. So let's say somebody had a talent in music. Well, they would find extracurricular activities that would help them develop those talents and make them into a better person. If somebody had a knack for cooking or something like that, they would be introduced to culinary programs fairly quickly, and they would focus on trying to help this student develop the skills that they need in that talent field. And so there is definitely a huge benefit. We can see the differences in South Korea and Finland alone, how they can be very diverse, but there are things that we can learn in every system that we can apply to our education and even the education of our students later on. So that is my presentation today, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Please feel free to leave comments and stuff like that. I'm always looking for advice. So thank you guys, and I will talk to you later.